Well, I'm sure that many of you have heard of places like Lourdes in France and Medjugorje in Bosnia. Maybe some of you have been to Lourdes or Medjugorje. These are places where millions of people from around the world, they make spiritual pilgrimages to these places because they're going there in hopes of receiving a healing miracle. Now, a few years back, a group of 20 of us from Douglas UCC went to another healing place here in the United States. We went to a place called Chimayo in New Mexico. It is known as the Lourdes of North America. 1 million people each year go to Chimayo with the hopes of receiving a healing miracle. And when our group was there, we went into a room where there were literally thousands of crutches, leg braces, wheelchairs, and canes that were left behind by people who received healing at Chimayo. And our group got to go into a little basement crawl space underneath the chapel, and each of us was able to take home some soil from beneath the chapel in Chimayo. That soil is said to have sacred healing qualities. People have taken that soil, they've rubbed it on ailments, or even ingested it, and they claim to have been healed of their illnesses, things even like cancer. So my question for you this morning is, are these places for real? I mean, what's really going on here? Now, I share this with you today because obviously in our gospel reading, which I just read for you for the second Sunday after Pentecost, we hear of 2 healing miracles. A woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years and a synagogue leader's daughter who appears dead. These are just 2 of many healing miracles throughout the Gospels. And we attribute those miracles to Jesus. But as we just heard in our words of integration and guidance this morning, Jesus never took credit for any of those miracles. Never. Not one time. Because Jesus knew it wasn't just about him. It was about the person asking for healing and the power of their belief. So let's look at some other healing miracles in the Bible. When Jesus healed the blind man, he said to him, "Man, your belief has made you whole." He didn't say, "Man, I have made you whole." He said, "Your belief has made you whole." To the centurion who wanted healing for his daughter, Jesus said, "It shall be done to you according to your belief." Not "it shall be done to you according to me," according to your belief. And in today's story, the woman who touched the hem of his garment, he said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well." Again, he didn't say, "I've made you well." He said, "Your faith has made you well." Time and time again, Jesus says something similar. Actually, my favorite line of Jesus's, well, I should say one of my favorite lines of Jesus throughout the Gospels is this one. He said, "It is done to you as you believe." It is done to you as you believe. Jesus understood that through the power of our belief, we could heal our lives. Now, a few years ago, I shared with you a story about a woman whose name was Louise Hay. Louise Hay wrote her very first book at the age of 60, and it went on to become one of the best-selling books of all time. The book is called "You Can Heal Your Life." Louise Hay was one of the first people to really talk about this mind-body-spirit connection. And we understand that. The mind, body, and spirit need to be in balance. They're all connected. So Louise believed that there was a disease in the body, which she spells in the book dis-ease. Dis-ease. That if there's an illness of the body, and the mind, body, and spirit are all connected, that there must be some type of dis-ease in the spirit or in the mind. Maybe someone's spirit is dejected. Maybe their mind is thinking thoughts of lack, limitation, worry. Maybe they're holding grudges and resentments. Louise believed that those afflictions of the mind and the spirit would have an effect on the body, since the mind, body, spirit are all connected. Now, medical science has demonstrated that she was right. Okay, some of you may have heard of the placebo effect. It's where a doctor gives a patient a fake pill. It's just a sugar pill. It's not real medicine. But the patient doesn't know that. And in most of those cases, the patient gets better. Because it's not just about the pill. It's about the power of their belief. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am not saying that modern medicine is bad. It isn't. We're so fortunate. We're so grateful that we are living at a time of such medical breakthroughs. But those breakthroughs happened because doctors and scientists and researchers, they believed what could be possible. Where other people thought the impossible, they saw the possible. And so did Jesus. Now, in the other miracles in the Bible, the ones that don't have to do with physical ailments, for example, Jesus, as you know, turned water into wine. And he took 5 loaves and 2 fish and fed 5,000 people. And he was able to calm the seas. But notice in all of those other miracles, again, it was about belief. People came to him with limited beliefs, with fear and lack. Jesus, we don't have enough wine for the wedding. What are we going to do? Jesus didn't think that way. He thought abundance. So he was able to turn the water into wine. Same thing with the loaves and the fish. Jesus, what are we going to do? There are thousands of people here. We only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. Limited thinking, lack. Jesus didn't think that way. And so he was able to multiply the loaves and the fish. And the storm in the boat, remember, they're panicked. We're sinking. Jesus didn't think that way. So he's able to calm the seas. The power of belief. Now, I don't want to make sure that nobody leaves here today thinking that Jesus was saying, if you're sick, it's your own fault. Louise Hay wasn't saying that either. She received a lot of criticism for that. That people would say, I have cancer, are you telling me it's my fault if I would only think better? That's not what she was saying. It's not what Jesus was saying, and it's not what I'm saying. Okay? Jesus was trying to get us to understand that healing is something that we are a part of. It's something that we take part in. Okay? It is done to you as you believe. Okay? Now, when I spoke about this a few years ago, someone in this church came to me and said, Pastor Sal, you know, my mother died of cancer. And she was a woman who had a very strong belief. She was such a positive person. I don't understand why this happened. And what I said to her is, we don't know that healing didn't take place in your mom. Yes, she wasn't cured physically. But curing and healing are 2 different things. To cure means to return to the previous state of being. To heal is to emerge into a new state of being. So yes, your mother may not have been cured physically, but that does not mean that she did not experience healing. Throughout the Bible, yes, there are people who were cured physically, but there were many other people who were healed spiritually. Now, Jesus says in the gospel to us, you have the power to heal every affliction and every illness. Yes, you have. That's what he said. But most of us don't believe it. We just don't believe it. The great visionary Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And Albert Einstein, one of the greatest thinkers of our time, said, there are only two ways of looking at the world. One as if nothing's a miracle, and one as if everything is a miracle. You understand? It's your choice. How do you choose to look at the world? Through which eyes? Now, if you go into our friendship hall, you'll see that there's a plaque on the wall. It's been there since 2015, and it's dedicated to the late Joe Pearson. And Joe Pearson used to have a quote that he would say to us whenever he would leave. He would say, now go and make that miracle happen. And so that's what it says on the plaque in honor of Joe. Go and make that miracle happen. And those are the words that I'd like to leave with you as we continue this season of Pentecost, this season where we're focusing on the Spirit at work in our lives. May we be people who believe in miracles. Let us be the miracle workers, for there can be miracles when we believe. Namaste. Hello, everybody. This is Sal Sapienza, and I'm so excited to share with all of you that I've written a brand new book. The book is called Childish Thinking: How the Church Keeps Us Stuck in Sunday School. Now, the title Childish Thinking comes from Christian scripture, where we hear that if we wish to grow in spiritual understanding, then we must let go of childish ways of thinking. And yet so many Christians today, even after years of Bible study and Sunday services, still have a very elementary understanding of their faith. They still understand God as some old man with a long gray beard. They think heaven is a place up in the clouds with pearly gates, that the devil is some red guy with horns and a pitchfork, and that hell is a fiery place below the earth. Those are things that we tell children. None of those descriptions appear anywhere in the Bible. And so in Childish Thinking, I try to dispel many of those misnomers, and I explore topics such as God, Jesus, heaven, hell, sin, prayer, and resurrection from the higher perspectives of ancient Christian mystics and contemporary progressive theologians. After each chapter, there are prayers for quiet contemplation and questions for personal reflection and journal writing. Come learn how you can let go of old ways of thinking and begin to see things with new eyes. Come and learn how you can finally graduate from Sunday school. The book is available now on Amazon, and you can read the entire introduction at childishthinking.faith.